Hello there, future teacher, and welcome to this Rica Test Prep lesson. Here to talk all about phonics and sight words, specifically instruction and assessment. If you followed along with us in our previous video, you would have seen that we created and completed a quiz all about phonics and sight words terminology and concepts. This one's all about instruction and assessment. Now, when preparing for your upcoming Rica exam regarding phonics and sight words instruction and assessment, make sure that you have a firm grasp for the fundamentals of teaching phonics. Want to be thinking about how to teach it, how to differentiate your lessons to meet the needs of all learners. In this case, you can think your English language learners, your advanced learners, your struggling readers, and always remember that instruction needs to be systematic, direct, and explicit. But this isn't the Rica Test Prep lesson for our study guide. That is right here in this video. However, in this video, we're going to complete a 10-question quiz. I am going to read the question, provide some time for you to read over the answer options A, B, C, and D, and then we'll go ahead and identify the correct solution together. So without further ado, let's start with number 1. This reads, what is the primary goal of systematic, direct, and explicit phonics instruction? Starting off with the fundamentals here, and you always want to be thinking about what the test administrators want you to think. You want to be thinking the way that they wrote the exam, and they want you to demonstrate your understanding that systematic, direct, and explicit phonics instruction, it aims to teach sound to symbol relationships in a clear and ordered way. Simple as that. Now, what we want to do is we want to ensure that all students in our classroom understand phonics concepts thoroughly before we move on. So for that reason, I'm going to go ahead and select answer option B, which reads to ensure students learn phonics in a sequential, step-by-step way. That's really important, that just understanding that framework. Let's move on to question number 2. This question reads, which instructional approach involves teaching phonics from sentences to words to individual sounds? Take a moment here to read answer options A, B, C, and D. Try your best to select the most appropriate answer. All right, this chapter does have a lot to do in our study guide with, the different instructional strategies, whether that is whole to part or part to whole. Now remember that whole to part phonics instruction starts with sentences and moves to words. So it goes from big to small, from whole to part. And then it focuses on individual sounds, kind of narrowing down further. And for that reason, looks like for question number 2, we're going to select whole to part phonics instruction. Moving on to question number 3, this reads, what type of phonics instruction begins with the sound and builds up to words? So now we can actually click the previous button here. This question number 2 is, which instructional approach involves teaching words to individual sounds? And question number 3 is talking about which instructional strategy begins with sounds and builds up to words, and probably then goes to paragraphs, and probably then goes to stories. Which is that? Take a moment here, read all of the answer options, and let's go. So here we have the correct answer option is synthetic phonics. And remember that this type of phonics is also known as part to whole. Okay, so you have to understand the key terminology, the jargon of reading instruction in order to pass your upcoming Rica test. So this synthetic phonics is another a way to say part to whole. And this part to whole instruction starts with individual sounds and blends them eventually into full words. Great job so far. Moving on to question number 4. This one reads, which of the following is a primary category of phonics lessons for beginning readers? Take a moment here to read answer options A, B, C, and D, and pick the one that you think is best. So you can, check your readiness for test day. I remember when I was preparing for the Rica test, I felt it was tough. I wish there was more multimedia instruction, and that's why I made these videos, as well as the study guides, these quizzes, our vocabulary flashcards, and our full-length online timed practice test. In case you want to make passing your Rica test simple, just click the link in the description below or visit us at ricatest.com. All right, so Question number 4, without further ado, remember that for beginning readers, phonics lessons typically include sounding out and blending regular VC, which stands for vowel consonant, and CVC, remember consonant, vowel, consonant words. So here we have option B, sounding out and blending regular CV and CVC words. So we're going to go with that. Click next. Move on to question number 5. How should sight words be taught to maximize learning effectiveness? This one's really important. Is it A, B, C, or D? Pause the video if you need some extra time. Otherwise, let's talk about this. So sight words should be taught using a direct and explicit whole-to-part lesson approach, which focuses on word recognition as a whole unit. And so here we have option A, and we're going to go with that. Moving on to question number 6, which reads, which method is used to assess the phonics skills of students? Take a look at these answer options. Which one do you think is the most appropriate? All right, so which method, which instructional strategy is used to assess phonics? Let's see, how much more time do we have? We have 4 minutes. We're on question 6. We're doing great. Thanks so much for sticking around. It's a total honor and a pleasure to help you prepare for and pass your Rica test. If you're finding value in this video, please give the video a thumbs up. If you want to see all of our content, make sure you hit subscribe so when we come out with new videos, you will get the notification for it. All right, so talking about assessing phonics skills of students, decoding in isolation is a common method used to assess students' phonics skills, focusing on their ability to read words out of context first, and then going from isolation to context. There we go. We're going to go with option B and move on to question number 7. This one reads, what is an effective strategy for teaching phonics to English learners? Super important for your Rica test. You need to be able to understand how to provide effective instructional strategy for English language learners, advanced readers, and struggling readers, as well as just everyone in the classroom, no matter their needs. Question number 7, take a moment here, pause the video if need be. Remember that effective phonics instruction for our ELLs, or our English language learners, involves capitalizing on transferable phonetic knowledge from their primary language to English. So if they're coming from a Spanish-speaking country, they move to America, and we can capitalize, we can take advantage of their Spanish background because so many words in Spanish and English are similar. Now, of course, it gets harder if the students come from their first language is further away than English. But what we can do is we can always learn from their culture and their language in order to help them learn the lessons that we're teaching. So here we go. Letter D, capitalize on relevant knowledge from their primary language. Moving on to question number 8. Let's go. Which assessment type involves students reading passages to identify phonics patterns in context? We're going to go here and select answer option. Which is it going to be? Take a moment. Is it decoding in isolation? Phonemic awareness panel, sight word recognition test, decoding context. I'm going to go ahead with answer option D, decoding context. These assessments require students to read text passages, which allows us teachers, us educators, to observe how well students apply their phonics skills within actual reading situations, which is really insightful compared to reading in isolation, which we just talked about, which you might want to start with, but we gather so much more information when we ask a student to read a whole paragraph or even a short story. Moving on to question number 9. You're doing great. Thanks so much for sticking around on this video. We appreciate you. Here we go. For advanced learners, what type of phonics words might instruction focus on? Talking about advanced learners, I remember when I took my Rica test, my constructed response question, the essay, it was all about an advanced learner, and I was shocked by that. I always thought that they were going to give me an English language learner or a struggling reader, because I kind of felt like that was more important. But you really have to be prepared for all types of learners on the test, because my constructed response question was for an advanced learner, and I wasn't as prepared as I wish. And of course, I passed, but just keep in mind that, this is why I wrote this question, because you do receive questions for advanced learners. Whoa, we've got 1 minute. We better get going. All right, so advanced learners typically focus on more complex phonics instruction patterns, and we can think of examples like CVCC, CCVC, and CVVC, as well as CVCE words. Remember, V stands for consonant, and V stands for vowel, C stands for consonant. So we're going to go ahead and select letter C right there. All right, moving on to question number 10. This one reads, which approach to phonics instruction would likely involve using sentences and words to highlight specific sound to symbol relationships? We've got 24 seconds left, plenty of time. All right, so hold to part phonics instruction uses sentences and words to guide students. So we are going to go ahead and select answer option A, because this helps them understand that sound to symbol relationship. Starting with larger units, moving towards individual elements is helpful. Oop, we ran out of time, but hey, we got 10 out of 10. That's why I really like our quiz, is that it automatically scores your quiz for you. It's not like a physical textbook where you have to go ahead and score your own quiz and then make sure that you do a proper job of scoring. It's exactly what you'll receive on test day, where it's one question at a time, it's timed, it's online. And if you want preparation programs and study materials that prepare you for your Rica test, you're going to want to click the link in the description below, or visit us at ricatest.com in order to get everything that you need in order to pass your upcoming exam. Thanks so much for watching, and I really look forward to seeing you in future videos.